You probably know Angie Harmon from her starring role on TNT's police drama Rizzoli Isles. She's also a new ambassador for UNICEF. She joins me now. Angie, great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You have 3 children of your own.
I do.
How much did that play a part in you wanting to team up with UNICEF?
I think it played a huge role in it. You know, I've always sort of had a soft spot for helping children and children that are suffering, if anything, just because they can't defend themselves. They can't stand up for themselves.
You recently traveled to Nicaragua. You were there for a whole week. What surprised you the most about that visit?
I think the thing that surprised me the absolute most was the spirit and the resiliency of those kids. You know, UNICEF works with a lot of organizations there. They've created a program called peer-to-peer counseling, or life skills. It was just so mind-blowing to me to have, you know, these 11-year-olds who care so much about other 11-year-olds or other 15-year-olds, and how do I help this person, and how do I keep them off the streets, and how do I keep, you know, bad things from happening to them. These kids, they have nothing, and they very easily could just throw in the towel and give up, but they don't. And I think that was the thing that struck me the most. And just, I walked out of that country literally hopeful. I'm just so thrilled to be working with an organization like UNICEF that actually has the courage to go out there and say, this is not going to happen anymore.
When you're not with family, you're in LA taping Rizzoli Isles, and you guys got renewed for a 5th season. We're about to see the 4th season return. What can we expect?
Yeah, and it is a little confusing, I get it, because we have our winter episodes,
right,
and there's 4 of them. Yes. So yes, that's what's coming up on February 25th. It's very exciting. And then, you know, we start shooting season 5 on the 10th of February. I actually go to LA in a few days.
Right. And you did some like hardcore research before you took on that role. How much did that help? Like actually getting in there, talking to people in Boston,
I mean,
right?
Yeah. And I spent a few days with the Boston Homicide Unit, and you know, I got to tell you, it's an amazing unit, and an amazing thing to be a homicide detective. And I think the thing that I took away from that the most was the fact that, yes, you could be standing in the middle of just a horrific situation, but you know, you still have your life. We still have our lives. You know, how was your kid's math test? And you know, there's a body right there, but that's what they have to do. They have to do that in order to just keep their sanity.
You play Rizzoli.
I do.
You're kind of a brash, bold character.
Yes, she is.
And they even describe her as tomboyish at times, which I look at you, I'm like, she's not at all tomboyish.
Oh,
I mean, I know
you.
on the show it kind of comes
you.
off that way, but do you think you have anything like your character?
I do. I'd like to say that we have the same integrity. I'd like to say we have the same courage. We certainly have the same fire and the same sass. I studied the way men relate to each other. And, you know, I sort of put that in Jane, because in those, especially in those fields, you know, the women that are in those jobs, they have to kind of dumb it down and become more masculine in order to just hold their own. And that's just the way it is. So I kind of modeled Jane in that way.
Can't wait to see what you have coming up next
thank you.
with UNICEF and your show. So thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Angie Harmon, new UNICEF ambassador and star of Rizzoli Isles. For this and all things entertainment, stay with CBSNews.com.